Are you dreaming of owning a beautiful home here in the stunning, sun-drenched Costa de la Luz, but worried that the process might be complicated, risky, or full of legal traps? Maybe you've already fallen in love with the charm of Andalusian towns or the peaceful vibe of these unspoiled beaches, but when it comes to buying a property as a foreigner, it feels like there are too many unknowns. Well, you're in the right place. In this video, I'm going to walk you through every single step of the buying process here in Spain as an international buyer. No shortcuts, no hidden fees, no surprises. Just a clear step-by-step roadmap from start to finish, designed specifically for people like you who want to buy safely, smartly and stress-free. Make sure to stay until the very end because I'll also share the most common costly mistake I've seen foreign buyers make here in Spain. And trust me, you'll want to avoid it. My name is Ricardo Vieira and I'm a real estate agent with eXp Realty specializing in the Costa de la Luz area, both Huelva and Cádiz provinces. And I'm focused on helping international clients buy their dream properties right here, whether it's a countryside finca or a charming apartment in one of the whitewashed towns. I know exactly how overwhelming the process can feel from the outside, and my goal is to break it all down in plain English, so that you can focus on enjoying the Spanish lifestyle while avoiding unnecessary stress or costly mistakes. Before we dive in, if you already decided on buying somewhere in Spain, well, feel free to watch the entire video since the process is quite similar. There will be some minor differences along the process and taxes, but nothing special. Also, if you need to, I can refer you to trusted real estate professionals in Spain and in Portugal. So, without further ado, let's dive into what brought you here in the first place. Let's go. Before we dive into the legal and financial details on buying property here in Spain, let me first explain why Costa de la Luz is not just another Mediterranean coast. Because when people think about buying in Spain, they often think and hear about the Costa del Sol, Costa Blanca or Costa Brava, and in cities as Málaga, Marbella, Alicante, Barcelona or Ibiza, right? But those areas, honestly, they are crowded, pricey, heavily tourist-driven. Costa de la Luz, it's completely different. And once you understand the unique lifestyle, connections and value that this region offers, you'll see why savvy international buyers and people who truly want to escape the noise are quietly shifting their focus here to Costa de la Luz. Natural beauty and stunning beaches, untouched paradise. Here you'll find over 300 kilometers of wide golden sandy beaches backed by dunes, pine forests and natural reserves. No high-rise hotels blocking your views, no overcrowded promenades, just space, peace and room to breathe. Beaches like Tarifa, Bolonia, Conil de la Frontera or Sahara de los Atunes in Cádiz province, or Masagón, Punta Umbría, Nuevo Portil, Punta del Moral or Isla Canela in Huelva's province, feel like you've discovered your own private escape. 2. Gastronomy, a food and wine lover's dream. Let's talk food. The Costa de la Luz is the heart of the authentic Andalusian cuisine. Here you can savor the famous red tuna, or atún rojo de Almadraba, freshly caught using Asian sustainable methods. The delicious jamón ibérico de bellota, smoked ham from the nearby Sierra de Huelva. Fresh seafood straight from the fishing boats, tuna, clams, prawns, squids, everything. The tapas culture that's still local, unpretentious and reasonably priced. Pair that with some of the world's most unique wines like manzanilla and sherry wines from the Jerez region. Red wines, white wines, it's just not about eating, it's about experiencing a culture that's deeply tied to its land and sea. World-class golf courses and marinas. If you love golf, the Costa de la Luz boasts championship-level golf courses, without the crowds or inflated green fees you'll find elsewhere. Courses like Monte Castillo Golf, Costa Ballena, Sancti Petri Hills, Isla Antilla Golf Resort or Isla Canela Links Golf Club, amongst others, they attract players from all over Europe. And for sailing enthusiasts, there are modern marinas in places like Puerto Sherry, Jota, Ayamonte and Sanlúcar de Barrameda, offering excellent service and mooring options. But again, without the waiting lists and excessive prices of the Costa del Sol and Costa Blanca. Airport connections and strategic location. Now let's address the question. Is it well connected? Absolutely. You've got 3 international airports nearby. The Jerez airport is just 30 to 45 minutes away from key locations, the Seville airport is just about 1.5 hours drive from the furthest point in Costa de la Luz. Faro airports in Portugal are great options for those living near Huelva, less than an hour away. From Seville, you can also take the high-speed AVE train, reaching Madrid in under 2.5 hours. Driving to Portugal Algarve's coast, well, you'll be there in less than 1 hour. Want to visit Malaga or Marbella? Well, that's roughly 1.5 hours by car. But then again, at the end of the day, you'll return home where you find peace. Strategically, Costa de la Luz offers freedom, whether you want to travel often or just enjoy easy access without sacrificing lifestyle. Water sports and outdoor living. Love the outdoors? This coast is a paradise for water sport lovers. Kite surfing and windsurfing capital, Tarifa, known worldwide. Surfing, paddleboarding, sailing, scuba diving all year round thanks to the mild climate. Endless cycling and hiking routes through pine forests, dunes and the Doñana National Park. Here, you live outside all year round. It's active, healthy, low-stress living. Low-stress, safe and family-friendly lifestyle. Unlike big tourist hubs, life here is unhurried and safe. Crime rates are exceptionally low and communities are tight-knit. There are excellent international schools in places like Cádiz, Jerez and Seville. Perfect if you're planning a relocation with children. And because the cost of living is still lower than in other parts of Spain, your money goes further, whether it's eating out, property maintenance or day-to-day expenses. This isn't the packaged Spain full of gimmicks, it's authentic, high-quality living without unnecessary stress. Growing expat communities and multicultural vibe. While the Costa de la Luz is authentically Spanish, it's also quietly becoming a haven for international expats from the UK, Germany, Netherlands, France and beyond. But here's the difference. It's not dominated by tourism. Expats here integrate, form communities and enjoy the benefits without losing that Spanish charm. There are active social circles, sports clubs, language exchange, all while still preserving the relaxed Andalusian atmosphere. Better value for money plus investment potential. And let's not forget what every smart buyer wants to hear. Better value, higher potential. Compared to neighboring regions like Costa del Sol and Costa Blanca, property prices here are significantly lower, sometimes by 20 to 40%. The market is far from being saturated, meaning more space for appreciation. Rental income potential is rising, especially in summer months, with growing demands and Spanish nationals, international tourists who want something more genuine. It's a place where you're not just buying a home, you're making a strategic investment while securing a dream lifestyle. So, why settle for the crowded, overpriced coasts when Costa de la Luz offers you stunning nature and beaches, world-class food and wine, golf, marinas, outdoor living, easy travel connections, safety, space, peace of mind, strong expat communities, and an unbeatable value? Now that you understand what makes this area so special, let's get practical. Let me walk you through exactly how to buy your dream property here as a foreigner, step by step, so that you can make it happen without stress or surprises. Overview of the buying journey. Now that you understand why the Costa de la Luz is such a smart and rewarding choice, let's talk about how to actually buy a property here as a foreigner, without stress, confusion or risk. Think of this next part as your personal roadmap. I'll be walking you through every essential step, from the moment you start dreaming of a Spanish property right up until you're holding the keys in your hand, and even beyond that. Here's a quick overview of what's ahead. Define your budget and goals, understanding not only how much you can spend, but what lifestyle you're truly after. Are you buying for holidays? Relocation, investment? We'll cover how to factor in not just the purchase price, but taxes, fees and hidden costs you might not expect. Research areas and properties. Each town and village along the Costa de la Luz offers something different. I'll show you how to choose the right area based on your lifestyle preferences and how to find available properties, even if you're searching from abroad. Find a trusted local real estate agent. I'll explain why having a knowledgeable bilingual independent agent is essential, and how to avoid conflicts of interest that will cost you later. Legal and tax considerations. Buying in Spain as a foreigner comes with some key legal steps, like obtaining your NIA number, understanding property laws, and knowing your tax obligations up front. I'll break it all down clearly for you. Financing options. Whether you're paying in cash or looking for a Spanish mortgage as a non-resident, I'll show you exactly what's required, what banks expect, and tips to get better rates. Making the offer and reservation contract. How offers work in Spain, how much you need to put down to reserve a property, and what terms protect you from losing your deposit unnecessarily. Due diligence and legal checks. This is where you protect yourself, verifying the property's ownership, debts, licenses, and legal status. I'll walk you through how to do it the right way with the right professionals. Signing the purchase contract, Escritura. Final steps at the notary, paperwork needed, how payments are structured, and what happens on signing day. Additional costs and taxes breakdown. Beyond the purchase price, I'll give you clear percentages for all fees, notary, registry, taxes, legal fees, so you're never surprised. Common pitfalls to avoid. The mistakes I've seen buyers make time and again, and how you can avoid unnecessary headaches. Post-sale essentials. Once you've bought, there are still a few things to handle. Setting up utilities, registering the property, handling taxes, and settling into your new Spanish life smoothly. That's the full journey laid out clearly. Now let's dive deep into each step, starting with the foundation. How to define your budget and goals the smart way and avoid the #1 mistake most buyers make at this very first stage. So let's get into it. Define your budget and goals. Alright, step 1 of the buying process starts here, defining your budget and your goals. And while this might sound obvious, trust me, this is the step where I see the most mistakes made, especially by international buyers. Why? Because many people focus only on the listing price of the property, but the real cost of buying goes beyond that. And if you don't prepare correctly from the start, you may fall in love with a property only to realize later it doesn't fit your total budget. Or worse, to face unexpected fees that derail your plans. So let me walk you through how to plan this properly. 1. Setting a realistic total budget, not just the property price. First, whatever property price you are targeting, you need to account for property price, of course, purchase taxes and fees, which includes transfer tax or the ITP. Typically, it's between 7 and 10% of the property price, depending on the region and property type. Notary fees and land registry fees, around 1 to 2% combined. Your lawyer, expect around 1% of the purchase price, but always budget a little bit more for peace of mind. Brokerage costs. When using a professional real estate agent, they will charge you for the services and support. That can be a fixed value, a variable percentage, or a mixed fixed and variable. Currency exchange costs. If you are purchasing in euros but holding money in pounds, dollars, or another currency, exchange rates can affect your total. I highly recommend using a specialized currency exchange service to avoid high bank fees and get better rates. Mortgage costs, if applicable, of course. If you're financing, factor in bank arrangement fee. That can be 1% of loan amount, valuation fees, potential life or home insurance costs required by Spanish banks. So here's a quick summary. A safe rule of thumb: add at least 10 to 12% extra on top of the property price to cover all taxes, legal fees, and additional costs. So if you're eyeing a property at 300,000 euros, you should be prepared for a total cost to 330 to 340 plus brokerage fees. Clarifying your goals. Lifestyle versus investment versus relocation. Next, ask yourself, why are you buying? Your goal will shape not just what property you choose, but where going costs you'll face. Here are the main scenarios. Holiday home? If it's a vacation property, you might prioritize proximity to beaches, marinas, or golf courses. But keep in mind, you'll have annual property taxes, community fees, if it's part of a complex, of course, maintenance costs, and potentially property management fees if you won't be here year-round. Full location, retirement. If you're planning to move here full-time, budget for healthcare coverage, private insurance unless you qualified for public healthcare, utility setup, electricity, water, internet, day-to-day living expenses, groceries, cars, schooling if you have kids, etc. And importantly, consider areas with international schools, good healthcare access, and a supportive expat community, if that's important to you, of course. Investment or rental income. Are you looking to rent your property when you're not using it? So you have to budget for tourist rental license application fees. You have to factor in management service if you want to handle bookings yourself. And you have also to consider seasonal variations in rental and demand rates. Consider also the tax on rental income for non-residents, and that is currently around 19 to 24% depending on your country of residence, so make sure that fits into your long-term financial plan. 3. Anticipate the hidden costs and maintenance. One thing that many foreign buyers forget is the annual IBI property tax, the local council tax, the basura, which is the garbage collection tax, community fees if you're an apartment complex or golf urbanization, ongoing home insurance, property management, and repairs. It's better to overestimate your annual running costs now rather than stretch your budget too thin later on. 4. Don't rely only on online estimates. So, here's my personal advice. Once you've done your preliminary research, talk to a trusted local real estate advisor, like myself, and a lawyer to get exact figures for taxes and costs specific to the area you're buying in. Online calculators are helpful, but they won't cover variations in tax rates between provinces, Huelva and Cádiz, for instance, community-specific fees, mortgage conditions for non-residents, etc. The goal here is to go with complete clarity. 5. Don't stretch the limit. One final tip. It's easy to fall in love with a property that's right on the top end of your budget. But remember, you want to leave room for flexibility, unexpected expenses, and living comfortable once you bought. A property should enhance your lifestyle and not create stress. It's better to have some breathing space, so when you arrive in Spain, you're enjoying life and not pinching pennies. So, once you've carefully defined your budget, including all taxes, fees and long-term costs, and clarified your goals, you are already miles ahead of most buyers. Now, let's move to the fun part: how to choose the perfect area and property here in Costa de la Luz. Because whether it's a beachfront apartment, a countryside finca, or a golf course villa, this coast offers something for everyone. Let's get into it. Research areas and properties. Now that you have your budget and goals clearly defined, it's time for the exciting part: finding the perfect area and property. But here's where a lot of foreign buyers get stuck. They scroll endless property websites dazzled by listings, but without really understanding which areas fit their lifestyle or their long-term plans. Let me simplify it for you. 2 key questions to ask first. Before looking at specific properties, you need to answer: what kind of lifestyle are you looking for? Do you want to be right by the beach? Or prefer a quiet countryside setting? Want to be close to golf courses, marinas, town centers? Do you need international schools or easy access to airports? How do you plan to use the property? Holiday home? Full-time residence? Rental investment? Once you are clear on those 2, let me walk you through the main zones here in Costa de la Luz so that you can match your goals to the right location. Breakdown of key areas. In the Cádiz province, we have Tarifa, world famous for kite surfing and laid-back beach vibes. It's ideal for outdoor lovers, digital nomads, and water sports enthusiasts. The vibe here is international, youthful, and eco-conscious. What type of properties? You'll find a mix of modern apartments, villas, and countryside fincas. Vejer de la Frontera, a stunning white hilltop village, bohemian yet traditional. If you're looking for charm, walkable streets, boutique hotels, and a strong expat community, this is it. What type of properties here? Well, you'll find townhouses, beautifully restored cortijos, and small villas. Conil de la Frontera and El Palmar. For a mix of relaxed surf culture, great beaches, and local Andalusian life. This area is growing fast but still remains authenticity. It's ideal for holiday homes with rental potential. Type of properties? Beachside apartments, townhouses, and modern villas. Chiclana de la Frontera y Novo Santipectri. perfect for golf lovers and families. Excellent beaches, golf courses, marinas, and close to services. Also offers gated communities, great for security-conscious buyers. For properties here, you'll find villas with pools, townhouses in golf resorts, apartments, everything. El Puerto de Santa Maria, Rota, and Sanlúcar de Barrameda. For those who want marina life, sailing, or closer city amenities. It's ideal for permanent living, especially for retirees or professionals. It has a strong expat presence, especially American, due to the nearby naval base. What type of properties here? You'll find spacious villas, apartments, and townhome. In Huelva's province, Ayamonte, Isla Canela, Punta del Moral, and Costa Suri. It's quieter, affordable, with a strong fishing heritage. Close to Portugal, Algarve, for easy cross-border trips. Great for buyers looking for authentic Andalusian town life. What type of properties? Apartments, townhouses, and some modern villas. Isla Antilla, El Rompido, and Nuevo Portil, a golf and marina haven surrounded by natural parks and golf courses. Ideal if you want peace, sports, and nature. What type of properties? Golf resort apartments, villas, apartments, and townhouses with sea views. Inland Huelva, Sierra de Aracena. For buyers who want total tranquility, traditional Andalusian countryside homes, and cooler temperatures. What type of properties here? Fincas, restored farmhouses, rustic properties. How to search properties, even from abroad. Once you've narrowed down the areas, it's time to start researching listings smartly. Here's my recommended approach. 1. Use trusted portals like Idealista and Fotocasa. Great starting points for Spanish listings. You'll also have Quiero and Think Spain, which are focused on international buyers. But don't rely solely on portals. Many of the best properties, especially unique villas or off-market opportunities, never make it online. Some Spanish sellers prefer privacy, or properties move fast through local networks. This is where a local agent becomes essential. They have access to off-market listings, local bank repossessions, connections with notaries, developers, and private sellers, virtual tours, and video walkthroughs. Since many of my international Italy, I provide detailed video walkthroughs, live virtual tours via Zoom, WhatsApp, or FaceTime, and I also provide honest feedback on the condition and surroundings, beyond what polished photos usually show. Make sure that your agent offers this. It saves you wasted trips and lets you filter out poor choices early. Understand property types and what to check for. These are the different property types here in Costa de la Luz. Apartments, easy on maintenance, good for rentals, but check community fees. Townhouses, often traditional architecture and low maintenance. Detached villas, privacy, pools, gardens, but factor in higher maintenance. Fincas or country homes, peaceful, large plots, but legal checks are critical. Ownership and land classification. Some key checks. Look for legal status of the property, if it's urban or rustic land. Look for debts or liens, community rules and fees, or also access to utilities, especially if it's in rural areas. Remember, the goal isn't just to find a beautiful home. It's to find a property that fits your lifestyle, budget, and long-term plans. The more clarity you have about the area and type of property, the smoother the rest of the process will be. And the good news? You don't have to figure it out alone. That's why having the right local advisor is key. Once you've identified the area and type of property you're interested in, the next and most important move is choosing the right local professionals to guide and protect you. Let's talk about how to find a trusted real estate agent, lawyer, and why it's absolutely critical to avoid conflict of interest here in Spain. You won't want to miss this next part. Find a trusted local real estate agent and legal team. Now let's talk about one of the most critical steps in buying property in Spain, especially as a foreigner. Choosing the right professionals to guide you. Because here's the truth, not all real estate agents, lawyers, or advisors have your best interest at heart. In many cases, agents work directly for the seller, meaning their priority is to close the deal fast, sometimes at the expense of the buyer's protection or clarity. And let's be honest, navigating the Spanish property system with its unique laws, bureaucracy, and local variations can be challenging when you're not familiar with it. Why this step is non-negotiable. This is where many international buyers unknowingly take risks. They rely on the seller's agent exclusively, they skip hiring an independent lawyer, and they don't question the professionals involved, assuming everyone's interests are aligned. The result? Legal oversights, unclear contracts, hidden debts, or paying more than necessary. My role and my commitment is to prevent that. How I work differently. Independence and client-first approach. I don't just show you the listings. I represent you, your interests. I work exclusively for my clients, buyers and sellers alike, ensuring transparency, honesty, and that no detail is overlooked. But more importantly, I've spent years building a trusted, vetted network of professionals here on the Costa de la Luz, including independent, bilingual lawyers who specialize in property law for foreigners, reliable mortgage advisors who know how to secure the best deals for non-residents, honest notaries and tax experts, experienced currency exchange specialists saving you thousands on transfers, and even trusted contractors, architects, and property managers, should you need them. Everyone I recommend is someone I trust to uphold the same standard of integrity that I promised to you. Why you need an independent lawyer, and it's a non-negotiable. One absolute rule: never skip hiring your own independent lawyer. They are your first line of defense. Your lawyer will verify property ownership and registry status, check for or unpaid taxes attached to the property, ensure building licenses and urban planning compliance, review contracts line by line before you sign anything, handle official translations if needed. Many buyers make the mistake of trusting the seller's lawyer or skipping legal steps to save money. I can't stress enough. That's not saving, it's exposing yourself to unnecessary risk. Through my network, I'll connect you with lawyers who are 100% independent, transparent, and used to working with international clients. Mortgage and financing support. If you're considering financing part of your purchase, working with a local bank directly without proper guidance, it can also be frustrating. Each bank has different requirements for non-residents and terms can vary significantly. I'll connect you with reliable mortgage brokers who speak your language, know exactly what documents are needed, and they can compare offers from multiple banks to get you the best terms. And this saves you time, stress, and potentially thousands in fees and interest. The benefit of a strong local network. What really sets this process apart is this: you are not navigating unfamiliar systems alone. Through my network, you get pre-vetted professionals, no guessing, no trial and error. Everyone communicates efficiently. Everyone understands the unique needs of foreign buyers, legal, financial, cultural, and emotional. It's one seamless, coordinated process. One of the biggest mistakes I've seen: trying to cut corners by skipping key professionals or trusting whoever the seller recommends. That's how costly surprises happen. Instead, think of your team as your safety net, protecting your investment, your time, and your peace of mind. I can provide you that. So now that you know who you need on your side and how I can connect you to a trusted network, it's time to move to the next step: understanding key legal requirements and taxes for foreigners buying property in Spain. This is where the things often get confusing, but I will break it down clearly so you know exactly what to expect. Again, let's get into it. Legal and tax considerations. Now that you've got your professional team in place, let's tackle the next big piece: legal requirements and taxes when buying property in Spain as a foreigner. This part often feels confusing. There are acronyms, new terms, percentages everywhere, but I promise you, once you've broken down clearly, it's straightforward. So let's go step by step. The NIE number, NIE, your first priority. The first very thing any non-Spanish buyer needs is a NIE number, Número de Identificación de Extranjero. Think of the NIE as your Spanish tax ID. Without it, you can't buy any property, you can't open a Spanish bank account, sign official contracts, set up utilities, or handle tax filings. How do you get it? You can apply at any Spanish police station or Spanish consulate abroad. You'll need your passport, an application form, which is the EX15, proof of purpose, e.g. property purchase contracts or reservation contracts, and a small fee, around 10 to 12 euros. Don't worry, I can assist you or connect you with legal professionals who will handle the process smoothly, especially if you're applying remotely. Purchase taxes. Exact, no surprises. Here's what you need to pay when you buy. Transfer tax, 7 to 10%. If you're buying a resale property, the main tax is the Impuesto sobre Transmisiones Patrimoniales, or ITP. In Andalucía, Costa de la Luz, it's currently set at 7% flat rate on the property price for resale properties. If you're buying a brand new property directly from a developer, instead of ITP, you'll pay 10% VAT IVA on the price, plus 1.2% stamp duty, AJD, AGD. Other purchase costs, around 0.5 to 1%, land registry fees, around 0.5 to 1%, and the legal fees, your lawyer, around 1% of the property price. Here's a quick recap example. If you're buying a 300,000 euros resale property, you'll have to pay 7% of ITP, which is 21,000 euros, legal fees, 3,000 euros, notary and registry, 3,000 to 5,000 approximately. The total extra costs would be roughly 27 to 30,000 euros. So plan for 10 to 12% extra overall to be safe, and don't forget to add the brokerage fees. Annual property taxes and costs. Once you own the property, there are the ongoing taxes. We have the IVI, which is the local property tax, and it's paid annually to the town hall. It's based on the cadastral value. For most homes, expect anywhere from 300 to 1,500 a year, depending on property size and location. You'll also have the basura or waste collection tax, which is a small annual fee, typically 150 to 300 euros a year. Consider also the income tax for non-residents, imputed income tax. Even if you don't rent your property, Spain assumes a small notional income from owning. That will be taxed at 19% for EU residents or 24% for non-EU residents. That percentage is based on the cadastral value, and it's usually a few hundred euros per year. Nothing too heavy, but good to plan for. If you rent out the property, rental income is taxed at 19% for EU residents and 24% for non-EU residents. But deductible expenses apply if you're an EU resident. Plusvalia municipal, or the local capital gains tax. This tax applies when selling, not buying, but important to know up front. It's based on increase in land value since the last purchase and property location and size. When buying, your lawyer ensures no unpaid plusvalia taxes are left over from the previous owner. Inheritance tax for foreigners. Spain has an inheritance tax, but Andalucía has significant reductions or exemptions, especially for close relatives and residents. Still, if you plan to hold the property long-term, we can connect you to tax advisors to structure things smartly. Currency exchange fees. One overlooked cost. If you're transferring funds from pounds, dollars, etc., using standard banks can eat up thousands in fees. I work with specialized currency brokers who offers better exchange rates, zero or minimal fees, fixed rates to protect you from market swings before your purchase date. And this is another small step that saves you big. Legal checklist summary. Here's what I always ensure before you buy. Title deed checked in el registro de la propiedad. No outstanding debts, mortgages or liens. Urban planning compliance. Community fees and rules reviewed, if applicable. Tax situation verified. Contract clauses reviewed before you pay anything. I know this sounds like a lot, but with the right team, it's all systematic and safe. And remember, my job is to make sure every legal box is ticked, every tax is accounted for, and every document is explained clearly. No nasty surprises. Once all the legal groundwork is laid, the exciting part begins, making the reservation contract and moving one step closer to owning your dream property in Costa de la Luz. In the next step, I'll guide you through exactly how offers work in Spain, what deposits are expected, and how to protect yourself before signing anything. Let's move forward. Making the offer and reservation contract. You've chosen your dream property. You've done the legal checks, know your costs, and you're ready to move forward. Now comes the exciting and crucial moment: making an offer and securing the reservation. Let's break it down step by step. How offers work in Spain. It might be different from other countries. First, understand that in Spain, the negotiation process is a bit more straightforward and formal than in countries like the UK or US. Here's how it typically works. You make a written offer, usually through your agent. That will be me. The offer will include the price you're willing to pay, any conditions, like subject to financial approval, time frame, furniture included, etc. Proposed date for signing the purchase contract, the Escritura, and then the seller reviews and either accepts, counteroffers, or declines. Negotiation strategy, protecting your position. This is where having me by your side is essential. As your advisor, I research comparable sales to ensure you're offering a fair price and not overpaying. Handle communication directly, avoiding emotional decisions, not just price, but conditions that protect you. Common negotiation points include reducing price based on property condition, including furniture, fixtures, or appliances, and also adjusting timelines based on your financing process. The key is balancing firmness and flexibility to get you the best deal without the reservation contract, or contrato de reserva. Once the offer is accepted, it's time to formalize it with a reservation contract. This contract takes the property off the market, usually for 2 to 4 weeks. It clearly states the agreed price and seller details and time frame, of course, and it locks in the deal while legal checks finalize. At this moment, a deposit will be required. Typically, you'll pay a 3,000 to 6,000 euros reservation fee. Sometimes it might be higher for high-value properties. This amount is held either by the real estate agency, in our case we have an insurance to make sure everything is okay, or by your independent lawyer in a client escrow account. Important: when is the deposit non-refundable? This is a key point many buyers worry about. Once the reservation contract is signed, the deposit becomes non-refundable if you back out without valid legal or contractual reason, if you fail to meet conditions like securing financing, if they were part of the contract, of course. However, your deposit is protected and refundable if the seller backs out, if legal issues arise like unclear property title, debts, or other red flags discovered in due diligence. And this is why the legal checks and the contract wording matter so much. That's my job, to ensure no hidden traps are buried in the fine print. Next steps after reservation. As the reservation is signed and the deposit paid, final legal checks continue. Your lawyer ensures everything is clean. No debts or liens, property licenses, community fees clear, utilities connected. Everything will be in place. If financing applies, your mortgage process kicks in, usually around 30 to 45 days to complete. Meanwhile, your lawyer drafts the contrato de arras, which is the formal purchase agreement, preparing for the final signing at the notary. A tip: don't rush, but don't wait too long. In Spain we say, sin prisa, pero sin pausa. I always tell my clients, good properties on the Costa del Sol don't sit around for long, especially beachfront homes, well-priced villas, or properties in top locations. So, take your time with due diligence, but once you've done your homework, move decisively to lock in the reservation. That way, you don't lose your dream property to another buyer while hesitating. So now, with your offer accepted and a reservation secured, the final stages begin. Due diligence, formal contracts, and preparing for the official signing day, when you become the legal owner. In the next step, I'll walk you through exactly how due diligence works in Spain and how we make sure there are no last-minute surprises. Let's dive into that next. Due diligence and legal checks. Now that the reservation contract is signed and your deposit is secure, it's time for what I believe is one of the most important stages of the entire process. This is where we leave nothing, absolutely nothing to chance. So, what is due diligence? Due diligence is essentially a full health check on the property. You wouldn't buy a car without checking the engine, right? So the same logic applies here, except it's even more critical because Spanish property laws have specific local nuances that, if overlooked, can cause serious issues later. This is where my trusted legal team steps in. Let's break down exactly what we verify. Property registry check. Registro de la propiedad. First, your lawyer pulls the official nota simple from the property registry. Registro de la propiedad. This document confirms who is the legal owner, is the seller, the real registered owner, that there are no debts, mortgages or liens attached to the property, the exact boundaries and size of the property, no claims, legal disputes or inheritance issues. If any red flags show up, we don't move forward. Your deposit remains protected thanks to the reservation contract's conditions. Urban planning and license compliance. Escritura y licencia. Next we check that the property is correctly listed as urban land, not rustic, unless you're specifically buying a rural finca, that all necessary building licenses are in place, and we also check that no unauthorized extensions, swimming pools or structural changes were done without permits. In rural areas, this step is especially crucial as properties on rustic land may have limitations or require special permissions. Again, my legal network specializes in this, and they know the municipal regulations inside out. Community fees and rules for apartments, urbanizations. If you're buying in a gated community, apartment building or golf resort, we always check if there are any outstanding community fees owed by the current owner. We also review community status rules about rentals, renovation, pets, noise regulations, etc. You don't want unexpected restrictions after you move in. Utilities and debt checks. This is another crucial step. By that, electricity, water, gas and internet services are connected. No unpaid utility bills exist because in Spain debts sometimes follow the property, not just the person. My goal is for you to receive a debt-free, fully functional home. Energy Efficiency Certificate, or the CEE. By law, every property sold in Spain must have a valid Energy Performance Certificate, Certificado de Eficiencia Energética. We ensure that it's up to date, and we also ensure that you understand the energy rating, important for long-term running costs. If you're financing, property valuation, la tasación. If you're applying for a Spanish mortgage, the bank will also conduct an official property valuation, la tasación, and this is to confirm that the property's value matches or exceeds the loan amount. Don't worry, because my network includes trusted mortgage brokers who coordinate this efficiently. Preparing the purchase contract, or contrato de arras. Once all legal checks come back clean, we move forward by signing the formal contrato de arras, earns money contract. This document includes final agreed price, payment schedule, exact property details, conditions protecting both buyer and seller, agreed date for final signing at the notary, la escritura, the deed. Typically, at this stage, you'll pay 10% of the total purchase price as a down payment, minus the reservation fee already paid. And it's a legally binding agreement. So, if someone backs down, it will have consequences. Protection clauses. Now, I have your back. I work closely with a lawyer to ensure clear exit clauses if legal issues arise, timeline flexibility, especially if you're securing a mortgage, no ambiguous terms that could put your deposit at risk. Everything is double-checked in both Spanish and your preferred language, so there's zero confusion before you sign. I can't stress enough. This stage is where the serious headaches happen for buyers who try to cut corners or skip proper legal guidance. But with the right team, which now you have, this becomes a methodical, stress-free process. Every box is checked, every document is verified, every potential problem is handled before you commit to the final signing. Once due diligence is complete and the purchase contract is signed, there's just one final step before you officially become the owner. Signing the escritura at the notary, the public deed, transferring ownership and handling final payments. In the next section, I will guide you through exactly how that works, so you know what to expect on the big day. Let's move on. Signing the purchase contract, la escritura. everything you've worked towards has led to this. Signing the Escritura Pública, the official public deed. This is the moment where you legally become the owner of your new property here on Costa de la Luz. Let me explain exactly how it works and what happens on the big day. What is the Escritura? The Escritura Pública de Compra-Venta is the formal contract signed in front of the Spanish public notary. It's not just paperwork, it's the legal document that transfers ownership from seller to buyer, registers the sale officially, confirms all terms agreed upon, price, payment, property details, and it's the final legally binding step. Once this is signed, the property is yours. Where and how does the signing happen? The signing takes place at the office of a local notary, notario, typically in the town where the property is located. Who's present? You, the seller or their representative, your lawyer representing you, the notary, of course, and sometimes the real estate agent, me, to assist. Well, I'm always there. Also, a bank representative if you're finalizing a mortgage. What happens? Well, the notary reads the Escritura aloud, the Spanish law requires this, and your lawyer ensures that every clause matches what was agreed, and if you don't speak Spanish, your lawyer translates everything live, and you and the seller will sign. Here's some good news. If you can't be physically present, you can grant your lawyer the power of attorney beforehand. El poder notarial. Many of my international clients choose this option if travel isn't possible. Final payments and taxes on signing day. At the notary, final payments are made. Remaining balance of the purchase price, minus previous deposits, any applicable taxes, transfer tax, VAT, stamp duty, notary fees and land registry fees. How is payment made? Usually by banker's draft, cheque bancario, from your Spanish bank account, or via a pre-arranged transfer handled by your lawyer. Your lawyer will also pre-arrange payment of property taxes, settlement of community fees, also switching utility contracts into your name, so that when you walk out of the notary, you are ready to move in or rent immediately. The official registration. After signing, the notary sends the signed escritura to land registry, Registro de la Propiedad. Your lawyer ensures it's registered correctly, final step to legally secure your ownership. This process usually takes 2 to 4 weeks, but from signing day, you're considered the legal owner. You receive your keys and deed copy. Finally, the moment everyone loves, the seller hands over the keys. You receive the certified copy of the Escritura. Your dream property in Spain is now officially yours. Post-signing essentials. After signing, I continue to assist you. And how? Registering for utilities in your name, electricity, water, internet, whatever, arranging property insurance, helping with some sort of property management if needed, introducing you to tax advisors for your non-resident tax filings. This is important if you plan to rent. Many buyers are surprised how smooth this process feels, especially after hearing how complicated buying abroad can be. But with a strong legal team and local advisor guiding you, everything is organized, explained and handled step by step. No surprises, no stress. You walk away with peace of mind and the keys to your dream property. Now, before we wrap up, there's still something very important to cover. All the additional costs and taxes after the purchase is complete. Because knowing exactly what to expect each year will help you plan confidently, whether you're using your property for holidays, relocating or renting it out. Let's break that down next. Additional costs and taxes breakdown. Congratulations! You are now officially the owner of your dream property here on the Costa de la Luz. But before you pop the champagne, let's talk about something equally important: the ongoing costs of owning property in Spain. Because knowing exactly what to expect each year keeps you in control, ensures you enjoy your investment stress-free and helps you budget smartly. Let's break it down. Annual property tax, IBI. Impuesto sobre bienes inmuebles. This is the Spanish equivalent of council tax. It's paid once a year to the local town hall, based on the cadastral value, valor catastral, which is usually lower than market value. The typical range, For standard properties, between 300 and 1,500 per year, depending on size, location and amenities. The lawyer ensures this is up to date at purchase. After that, you'll receive a yearly bill. Waste collection tax. Basura. This covers garbage collection services, usually between 150 and 300 euros per year, depending on municipality. Some cities include this in the IVI, others bill it separately. Community fees, if applicable. If you've bought an apartment, a townhouse in a gated community, or a property in a golf resort, you'll have the community fees to cover shared services, such as pool and garden maintenance, security, communal lighting and cleaning, general repairs, and they typically range from 50 euros to 300 plus per month, depending on the property type and amenities. Utilities. Of course, you'll also cover electricity from 50 euros to 150 euros a month, depends on usage and property size. Water from 20 to 50 euros a month. Gas, if applicable, from 30 to 60 euros a month. Internet, TV, around 30-60 euros a month. As a tip, setting up direct debit payments through your Spanish bank simplifies everything. You'll never miss a bill. Home insurance, highly recommended and sometimes required if you have a mortgage. Basic coverage starts around 250 to 500 euros a year, depending on property value and coverage level. Also, if you are planning to rent out, you may want additional liability coverage too. Annual non-resident income tax, IRNR. If you don't rent out your property, Spanish law assumes a notional income for owning property. Here's how it works. For EU residents, it's taxed at 19%. For non-EU residents, it's taxed at 24%. And it's calculated based on a percentage of the cadastral value. A rough estimate, for most properties, expect something from 300 to 700 euros a year, though your lawyer or tax advisor will calculate exact amounts annually. Rental income tax. This is if you're renting. If you rent out, you'll be taxed at 19% for EU residents, deductible expenses allowed, and at 24% for non-EU residents, gross income. Again, I can connect you with trusted tax advisors to handle declarations smoothly. Property maintenance and upkeep. Finally, factor in garden, pool maintenance, repairs and renovations, especially for older properties, property management fees if you're not local, for rentals or management, and this typically ranges for a villa with pool, garden around 1,000 to 3,000 euros a year, or less if it's an apartment with minimal personal upkeep. Optional, property management services. If you won't be living in Spain full-time, you might want key holding, regular inspections, cleaning and maintenance, rental management for bookings, guest turnover, etc. For this, rates vary based on services, but I can connect you with trusted local managers who handle everything transparently. No hidden fees. I know this sounds like a lot, but here's the key. You're never alone managing this. Everything is predictable, structured, and handled efficiently by your local team. When you budget smartly upfront and stay organized, these costs simply become the price of enjoying one of the best lifestyles Europe has to offer. Sunshine, safety, freedom, and a long-term investment that pays you back in quality of life. Now, before we wrap up, there's just one final thing I want to share. The most common mistakes I've seen foreign buyers make over the years, and how to avoid them. Before we finish, I want to share something that could save you thousands of euros, countless headaches and months of stress. These are the most common mistakes I've seen foreign buyers make over the years here in Spain, especially those who don't have a local trusted guidance. And trust me, these mistakes are 100% avoidable if you work with the right people. Let's go through them. Trusting only the seller's agent or lawyer. This is by far the biggest pitfall. In Spain, many real estate agents legally represent the seller's interest, not yours. It might seem easier just to go through the seller's agent, but here's the risk. Conflicts of interest, skipped legal checks, contracts favoring the seller, hidden debts or conditions overlooked. Solution: work with an independent advisor and legal team. If you choose to work with me, I will represent your interests only. My lawyer network is 100% independent and protects you. Skipping or rushing legal due diligence. Some buyers, eager to close quickly, skip thorough due diligence. Or they rely on partial checks, assuming everything's fine. Well, here's what can happen. Debts or mortgages attached to the property, illegal extensions or constructions, title issues, inheritance disputes, planning or land classification problems, especially in rural areas. These issues could cost you tens of thousands later, or worse, make the property unsellable. Solution? Through my trusted legal partners, we perform full registry checks, urban planning compliance, debt-free verification, community rule reviews, so no surprises, no overlooked red flags. Underestimating total costs and fees. And this is another classical mistake. Only budgeting for the property price, not factoring in transfer taxes, notary and registration fees, legal fees, brokerage fees, currency exchange losses, ongoing property taxes, maintenance and community fees. This leads to financial stress later. The solution? From day one, I walk you through the true all-in cost breakdown, so you know exactly what to expect, both upfront and long-term. No guesswork, no nasty surprises. Using high street banks for currency exchange. I've seen buyers lose thousands in unnecessary fees and bad rates by wiring large sums through traditional banks. The solution? My network includes trusted currency exchange specialists. Better rates, zero or low fees, and the option to lock in favorable rates ahead of time. Misunderstanding community rules, especially with apartments or golf resort villas. Many buyers fail to review community regulations, restrictions on rentals, renovations, pets, etc. Understand the monthly fees, sometimes leading to unpleasant surprises. The solution? I ensure I will obtain and explain all community statuses, confirm no unpaid community debts, and clarify fee structures up front, relying on friends or online advice only. Everyone knows someone who bought in Spain or reads tips online, but beyond general advice, it leads to misinformation, outdated regulations, missing the specific nuances of Andalusia or Costa del Sol, falling for one-size-fits-all guidance that doesn't apply to your situation. The solution? Local, up-to-date professional expertise. I live, work and specialize in this region. Everything I share is based on real transactions, real clients and current law. Going it alone without a trusted local network. This is the ultimate mistake. Trying to handle everything yourself. Jumping between unvetted agents, lawyers or banks. No coordination between professionals, causing delays, stress or costly errors. The solution? When you work with me, you're tapping into years of built, tested and trusted relationships with lawyers, mortgage brokers, tax advisors, currency experts, property managers and contractors, a seamless, safe and coordinated process, front to back. Look, buying a property in a foreign country is a big move. It's emotional, financial and can feel risky, but it doesn't have to be complicated. With me as your advisor, backed by my proven reliable network and every legal, financial and logistical step handled transparently. You'll not only avoid these mistakes, you'll experience the process safely, smoothly and confidently. If you're serious about buying property here in Costa del Sol and you want a trusted local expert by your side every step of the way, reach out. I'm here to make it happen. Without the stress, without the risk, and without falling into the traps so many others do. Your Spanish sunny dream home is waiting. Let's make it reality. Alright, before I go, let's quickly recap. You now know why Costa del Sol is one of the smartest, most beautiful and undervalued regions to invest in right now. I've walked you through every single step of the buying process, from setting your budget, choosing the right area, assembling all the way to signing day and beyond. And most importantly, you've seen exactly how working with a trusted local expert and my vetted professional network protects you at every turn. No stress, no surprises, no wasted time or money. And so what's next? Well, if you're ready to start your property journey here in southern Spain or even if you're still gathering information, I'd love to hear from you. Here's what you can do right now. First, book a private consultation with me. Whether it's over Zoom, phone, or in person, let's talk about your project and goals, and I'll give you clear, personalized next steps. Second, download my free buyer's checklist. It's linked in the description, and it will give you a quick reference guide to everything we've covered today. Share this video with a friend who's also interested in buying abroad. Subscribe to this channel. It will help me a lot. I post regular updates on Spanish property market, hidden gem areas, and insider advice you won't find anywhere else. One final thought. Buying property abroad doesn't have to be overwhelming. With the right advisor, you can navigate it with clarity, confidence, and peace of mind. Let's make your dream of owning a home here in the Costa de la Luz a reality. I'm Ricardo Vieira with eXp Realty, your trusted real estate agent here in Costa de la Luz, Spain. Thank you for watching, and I hope to hear from you soon.